we know just yet, although you can basically bet that when ETFs move violently, the flows underneath them are going to chase. So I don't think that's been driven by flows, but basically if you looked at, the
These deals for
Elsa, the past is not what it seems. You must find the truth.
Journey into the unknown with Disney's Frozen 2, the most anticipated musical movie event of the year.
we do this together, okay?
This November,
I believe in you, Elsa, more than anyone or anything. Into the end.
change is in the air. Frozen 2, in cinemas November 22nd.
In Athens, hailing it as a new era in their relation. She is meeting political leaders in Greece as part of a broader trip aimed at furthering a major global investment initiative inside the European Union. And here at home, fewer American kids are getting their flu shots, according to a new study from Columbia University. Researchers examined CDC data from 8 flu seasons and found that in recent years there has been a decline in those 17 years and younger being vaccinated. You are up to date. That's the news update. Ty, back to you.
All right, Sue, thank you very much. Sue Herrera. Here's what else is coming up on the exchange.
Ahead, a dog's got to eat. Why one analyst says Chewy is set to rally 26%. Instagram's bold likes initiative comes to the U.S. And will the recent cracks in the IPO market start to heal anytime soon? That's all ahead on the exchange.
How well does your financial advisor know you?
For the independent bookseller who found you that first edition.
For the baker who brings the smell of freshly baked bread to your door.
And for the barista who never needs to ask your name.
We've all got a part to play.
Every little tap keeps your high street alive.
And helps your communities thrive.
So if you love where you live, shop small.
Shopping on your local high street can make a big difference. Shop small. Only by American Express.
This winter, why not take the short flight from London to Dublin with Aer Lingus from just $32.99 each way as part of a return trip. From coastal walks to cosy pubs and friendly locals, you'll find so much to enjoy once you're there. Smart takes a Dublin city break. Smart flies Aer Lingus. Book now at aerlingus.com. Terms and conditions apply.
The world is a noisy place, but whether I'm here or here, My phone calls are always loud and clear on my Doro 6620. Hi, love. Yes, I can hear you perfectly. I'm 10 minutes away. Get your Doro 6620 from Amazon, Tesco, and O2 today.
This is a live message from the Survivalist Network. There are reports of an impending zombie apocalypse reaching London. But don't panic. Our intel shows that for £199 a month with 0% APR representative, you can locally access the Toyota Hilux Invincible, the only vehicle with the build strength to withstand savage hordes of the undead. Once inside your Toyota Hilux, stay on this frequency for updates. You'll be fine.
0% APR representative on new sales of Hilux Invincible over 42 months. £199 per month. Customer deposit of £9,701 when financed through Access Toyota by 16th of December 2019. £12,525 optional final payment. Subject to status to over 18s. Indemnities may be required. Conditions apply. Toyota Financial Services.
Far wing. Elevates. Triple bucket.
The roar of the crowd. The shot clock ticks down. Will the ball go in? The suspense is pure torture, but you wouldn't miss this for the world. And the replays just don't cut it.
To the sideline, the Van Fleet for three.
TuneIn Premium brings you every minute of the NBA season streaming live, so you can be there when it matters most. Hear it now, hear it live on TuneIn.
Pump fake in the lane, turnaround jumper from 8 feet is good on the right.
Search NBA today to start listening.
All right, let's catch up on a few stories that should be on your radar. It's time for Rapid Fire. Here with their takes, Dom Chu, Condessa Brewer, Robert Frank. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you with us. First topic, Alibaba setting a sales record on its Singles Day, world's largest 24-hour shopping event. Sales last year exceeded the spending by consumers on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Rahel Solomon has the latest numbers, and she is going to join us now. What are those? Hi, how are you? That's an entrance. Yes, I like that. Yes. Good. What are the numbers? Tell us about it.
So this year's sales topped $38 billion. So for some context, last year's sales were about $30 billion. So this is an event that's really unparalleled. There's nothing really like it. It starts with a star-studded concert. This year was Taylor Swift. Last year was Mariah Carey. It's very tech-focused. So this has been a year, though, that investors have been watching very closely, watching to see the health of the Chinese consumer, and also watching to see if there's any growing Chinese nationalism toward American companies. And this year, American companies did pretty well. Apple did well, Nike did well, Bissell did well, American jewelry companies did really well. So at least according to some of the analysts,
there was no backwash or backlash, I should say,
against appear to be
against American products based on the trade thing. How global is the Singles Day, or is it really solely Chinese?
It's not solely Chinese, but it is overwhelmingly Chinese. So representatives from Alibaba admitted that they don't do a great job of breaking down which countries are focused, but it's mostly Chinese and then American and then some European, like Spain, for example, some European companies.
If I went on it from here, could I do it? Does anybody ever try it?
Unless you're single.
How could I prove that? Wait a minute now.
This is a different show entirely.
Yeah. Don't you think that they want to get more international business, but one of the problems they're going to have is that the site is not intuitive. I mean, it's hard to navigate. It's hard to find out, well, how much is this really going to cost me, and what are these units that you're talking about? And I mean, in terms of making it accessible to people.
So you've gone on it and looked at it.
Yeah, when they went public, I went on. I was going to see what it was all about, and I found it to be rather difficult. I also think it's interesting. They're taking a page out of Amazon's success, and they're really focused on voice and how do we use AI.
Oh, but they're doing it to an entirely different level. I mean, their live streaming capabilities, last year they saw about half their total sales come from live streaming. So they're doing what we're seeing happening in America, but they're doing it at an entirely
Where did
different
Taylor
level.
Swift do the concert?
Shanghai. They actually have a performance,
Shanghai?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, so the curious part about this, by the way, if you're looking for an intuitive platform, there are a number of smartphone apps right now that connect you with the same e-commerce platforms in China. Geek is one, Wish is another one. So if you go there, you'll find those same Chinese-sourced products on those platforms that are maybe a little bit easier for people to do than Alibaba.
Is that where you're buying
Why is the
Christmas
stock?
gifts?
I don't. I haven't gone down that route yet. I can still find them on Amazon.
Why is the stock down today?
You know, it actually tends to trade downwards going into Singles Day.
This is a good day, though, right?
It was a good day, but the last 11 years going into Singles Day, it tends to trend downwards. This year, of course, you have all these geopolitical concerns that are sort of weighing down the stock, but I don't think it has anything to do with actual Singles Day.
All right, Rahel, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much. You exit as dramatically as you arrived. Topic number 2. Credit Suisse is going to the dogs, cats, birds, hamsters, etc. The firm initiating online pet products retailer Chewy with an outperform rating and a $29 price target. The analyst noting Chewy's expanding customer base and is bullish on the company's ability to maintain double-digit top-line growth. Also key to the rating, Chewy is down 34% from the closing price on its IPO day in June, making it attractive compared with other e-tailers.
It's just hard to say that with a straight face.
I just can't tell you that. And the name of the company, the name of the company is Chewy.
I know. And
you go first.
We have to go straight.
All right. So here's what I would say. I would say that there's a reason why the fundamental case for these pet products companies online are solid. The pet business is massive. It's multi-billion dollars. It's growing that fast. But for a company like Chewy, this is all about whether or not people can actually grow into this valuation for a company that has a commoditized product. Yes, they've got a great Rolodex of customers. Yes, they have a great fulfillment platform. But it's something that everybody else can kind of try to get into if they wanted to from a big product perspective.
Amazon's there. I mean, I can go on Amazon and get my cat food and my cat litter there. I don't...
You're making the case.
No, exactly. But I guess my question is the repeatable business, the sort
of PetSmart, you know,
monthly. It's almost like a subscription, right? Does that make those customers more sticky to Chewy?
Well, they say that it's sticky and chewy.
Sticky.
That's well done.
It's getting gooey.
The auto ship adoption here.
Yeah.
Pet adoption. Yeah. Okay, it was a stretch.
I love this.
But this is supposed to be an estimated 73% of sales. They're really aiming for, as you say, it's kind of that subscription model that it's just built in. Now, it's true that Amazon, you could do the same thing, but this is tailored to people who love their pets.
Yeah.
So much that when you say, hey, we're going to talk about Chewy, and I say, would you like a picture of my dog for the segment? Because it's people like me that where's my, look.
Is that your dog?
If this is part of your family,
nice.
Don't you sign up over and over again for the auto ship because you want the best food for that firstborn dog turf?
Firstborn dog. Oh, that was good. We're not going to top that, so we're going to
move on. Yeah, I'm just gonna...
Instagram, topic 3, testing out a new move, hiding the number of likes a post receives from the public. Now, users, who is the poster, will still be able to view how many likes you got. It's a change that was first rolled out in Canada and is now in practice in 6 other countries and will get underway in the U.S. for some users over the next few days. I guess this is to try and avoid the idea that people's self-image is being damaged if they don't get the number of likes they think they should, and they feel bullied or
depressurization.
It's competitive. Look, I mean, I think for a lot of Insta users, it's like a video game. How many likes can I get? How many followers can I get? And the likes is such instant either gratification or depression, depending on what happens. And I think they're just trying to get more engagement because I think in some ways it could deter people from using the site more because they just get discouraged that so-and-so just put a picture that they didn't like as much and they got 300 likes and I only got 100. So, but still the followers is ultimately the real competition, and that's not going to.
And by the way, you're still able to, if you're the user of the account, you're still able to see for yourself what the counts are and everything else. And by the way, if you're an Instagram influencer, you'll still have those metrics to back it up when you go and shop yourself to a company that may use you as an influencer. Those things aren't going away. The idea, though, of the platform changing and looking different is something that I think is weird because in all of our minds, we think we are so clung to this one type of thing. But remember when Twitter had stars instead of the heart for liking things, and everyone got all up in arms when they changed it to hearts? We will get used to it.
Could make it harder to determine fakes, though, because one of the ways you determine whether somebody has bought their followers is if they have a huge number of followers but very few likes. And this way, you won't be able to really see that anymore.
But I also think that there's a learning opportunity in social media here when you're looking at how other people do their Instagram and which are getting likes and which are not. Then there's a way to learn from that. And a lot of the artists say, look, the reason why I got attention is because other big sites could see how popular my posts were, and so then they reshared it with their followers or whatever. I just think, do we really need Instagram to be our psychologist and like say, oh, you need to feel better about yourself? I don't know.
When I go on to Instagram and I see 53,000 blah, 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 is that likes or is that followers?
Followers.
That's followers.
Yeah.
So I follow Richard Branson, for example.
Yeah.
He has a lot of followers.
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily liked.
He might also get likes. He might also get 53,000 likes.
Richard Branson, he's interesting.
He's popular.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. All right, topic 4. Thousands of families across the United States signing on to the Wait Until 8th campaign, a pledge to keep smartphones out of their children's hands until at least the 8th grade. Parents have long had to balance the positives of a cell phone, a useful tool for emergencies and a way to track where their children are, versus the negatives. Bullying, wasting time on YouTube, social media, looking up endless sports videos, as my son
All right,
does.
so here's the tough part about this one. So we all have children of varying ages. My daughter is about 2.5 years old right now.
She's young for a cell phone.
Yes, but she has a Play One.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm convinced that first of all, it's not because her friends have a Play One or her friends have cell phones. It's because, and I'm convinced of this, and this is my fault and my wife's fault, we are often seen around the house having a smartphone in our hands. So my daughter automatically uses us to say, I want a phone. So we've given her a Play phone that teaches her things like the letters and numbers. But this is not just about peers. This is about how impressionable kids are. Even at that young age, they want to do what other people are doing, specifically their friends or the older
What I love about this is it takes away, or at least starts to remove, the big excuse, which is all my friends have one. And we know that is what they say. Why can't I get a cell phone? My younger daughter is 11 years old. Why can't I get a cell phone? All my friends have it. All my friends have Instagram. All my friends have Facebook. So therefore, I'm the odd kid out. I'm always teased. If more and more parents band together and make it less likely that they will say, all my friends have one, that's the only way
What do you
this
say,
works.
Mom?
I think that we should have a wait until 8 that's for parents to put their cell phones away until after the kids are in bed at 8 o'clock. Secondly, let's talk the business of this. There are more than 32 million elementary school kids in the United States. Let's say that you gave your kids a cell phone at 8 years old, and then they get another one by the time they're in 8th grade. That's 2 cell phones. The impact of this could be huge for the cell phone manufacturers if parents are waiting till 8th grade to give their kids a cell phone. And if we're all doing it together, if there's I signed the pledge today because my kids won't have a cell phone until they're in 8th grade, I think. But imagine the business
How old are your
impact.
kids? Do you mind me asking?
They're 6.
Okay.
And they're not asking for a cell phone. They're asking for my cell phone all the time.
You want your cell phone?
But does your dog have one? That's the question.
Of course, she's way more spoiled than the boys are.
I think we gave our son a cell phone at 6th grade when he went into middle school, and that was a point at which a lot of parents in my town.
It's a good line of demarcation.
Are you happy with it?
Well, he's happy with it. The problem is cell phone use late at night, and it becomes an obsession.
Yeah.
They're all on. I'll go down to the basement, and all these 8th graders now, they're sitting there just in their screens. I mean, they're not talking to each other. All right.
Weird.
All right,
Neither are adults, by the way.
I'm sorry?
Neither are adults.
Neither are adults. I see people out on dates, and they're both looking at
They're
their
on
phone.
Facebook. They're on Insta trying to get likes.
Yeah.
That's where they are.
All right, Contessa, Robert, thank you very much. All righty, big names in real estate and personal finance jumping into a project that teaches inner city kids to become real estate investors in their neighborhoods. We've got those details on that fascinating story coming right up.
This piece is talking to me.
When it comes to music, I've heard it all. Pink Floyd, Sean Paul, Slipknot. But in the Witch Test Lab, hearing isn't enough. When we test headphones, we really listen. Not just to the music, but to the stuff that gets in the way. The traffic, the chatter, all that. Mind the gap. We simulate the loudest commute to find you the headphones that cancel out the noise. So you know we're only recommending the best.
Which tests harder so you can buy smarter. Visit which.co.uk.
For the independent bookseller who found you that first edition.
For the baker who brings the smell of freshly baked breads to your door.
And for the barista who never needs to ask your name.
We've all got a part to play.
Every little tap keeps your high street alive.
And helps your communities thrive.
So if you love where you live, shop small.
Shopping on your local high street can make a big difference. Shop small. Only by American Express.
The world is a noisy place, but whether I'm here or here, my phone calls are always loud and clear on my Doro 6620. Hi, love. Yes, I can hear you perfectly. I'm 10 minutes away. Get your Doro 6620 from Amazon, Tesco, and O2 today.
The nights have started to draw in, and at DFS we know that can only mean one thing. Everyone's spending more time at home getting nice and cozy. Ah, you can't beat it. That's why our autumn-winter collection sofas are handmade to order for complete comfort. And many are guaranteed to be delivered in time for Christmas. So make sure you come home to a sofa that's perfect for you. DFS.
Welcome back. Imagine if you could teach inner-city kids how to become real estate investors in their own neighborhoods. It's a program we introduced to you right here on CNBC a few years ago, and it is now attracting big-name partners in both real estate and personal finance, and Diana Olick has an update.
These Bronx kids are roaming the streets of their neighborhood, but they're not just hanging out.
Projection NOI of about 188,000.
They're scouting out opportunities. The kids are part of Project Destined, a nonprofit program that teaches inner-city students the fundamentals of real estate developing and investing, then lets them participate in and profit from real deals.
This will be like a stepping stone into my future.
We had to learn how to use Excel and make financial models.
Cedric Bobo, a former principal at the Carlyle Group, is the co-founder and chief cheerleader of this promising project.
We built it because there was demand in the marketplace for talent, but we needed to train that talent.
Launched just 4 years ago, Project Destined has run programs in Atlanta, Detroit, LA, Memphis, Miami, New York, and Oakland, with real estate partners including Brookfield, Walker & Dunlop, Cortland, and Unibail Rodamco Westfield. Students dive in through an online learning platform that teaches them all the basics, from understanding cap rates to predicting profit. Then they hit the ground in teams, each focusing on one property and formulating a full-on investor pitch, which they then execute to a panel of experts, Shark Tank style.
So every dollar that you invest, expect $3.
All right, Diana is here now. Diana, what do students get if they persuade the investors that the deal is good?
Well, they all get money. Look, all the students get cash scholarships with the most $5,000 going to the winning team. And now, in a new partnership, they will also get personal accounts with Acorns, which is a financial wellness app. And we are thrilled to have with us the CEO of Acorns, Noah Kerner, as well as the co-founder of Project Destined, Cedric Bobo. Noah, let me start with you. Obviously, these kids can get a lot from your platform. Tell us what they get, but also, what do they give to you as an Acorns company?
Yeah, so they get to be able to learn about financial literacy. They get to save and invest really early, do it automatically, and really start to grow money over time and see it grow. And that's a powerful catalyst for people, especially young people, starting early.
And Acorns must get something back, right?
Yeah, well, we're building our business as the kids are growing, and so it's a kind of mutual thing.
Great. And Cedric, what was it? What was the key? Your program has grown exponentially over the last couple of years. What was the key to attracting not just these major real estate firms, but also now personal finance companies?
Well, you got to start with the talent. So we went into the marketplace, we identified talent that could benefit from this resource, and then we mobilized them. We built the e-learning platform. We got them involved in cities across the country, and then we found partners like Acorns who could help them begin their journey in investing.
And they're going on from here to get internships. Some of them are getting jobs. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we'll have students interning at Brookfield, Westfield, at Cortland, at Walker & Dunlop. So we begin their journey in the workplace, but also investing. I mean, the key to getting students excited is, one, you got to show them the pathway and then give them a chance to make it real. And so Acorn makes it real for us.
Yeah, and Acorn's obviously not just a saving platform, but a teaching platform. You teach people how to invest as well. Do you think there's enough real estate investment knowledge out there? I mean, we talk about stocks, we talk about savings account, but, real estate's the thing now, at least. It's my thing. But do you think there's enough, and will Acorns get more into it?
Well, so if you in our portfolios, which are diversified across lots of asset classes, we have real estate in our portfolios today, which is awesome. So you start to get a taste of that. But I'm a fan of kids getting involved in investing as early as possible and looking at all the different ways to do it. We're obviously big advocates of diversified portfolios and investing in ETFs. So again, real estate is part of that mix today, which is good, and teaching about that is important too.
And this learning platform that you have also, I want to add, because it is, of course, Veterans Day, that you do this for veterans as well, and that program is expanding?
Yes, we do it for veterans. We started in Detroit, which is where we start everything, but now we're around the country with veterans. So we're excited to give veterans a chance to begin learning about real estate. I mean, for us, we believe real estate is the gateway. And with Acorns, they can now take that learning and then move into investing in other areas.
And you're going to be putting this in junior colleges as well, this platform?
Yeah, so we start with high schools in the Bronx Bronx next week. We're working with Lehman College in the Bronx. So we're excited to begin that journey with schools as well.
Fantastic. Cedric Bobo and Noah Kerner of Acorns.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diana.
Back to you, Tyler.
And thank you, Diana. And we should note that NBC Universal and Comcast Ventures are investors in Acorns. Well, the stock market in Hong Kong has been sinking as police clashed violently with protesters there over the weekend. We will have the latest news next.
It's another Monday evening, yet another windy day. So ditch the British winter and chase the sun across the globe with British Airways from London Gatwick to see spectacular coral reefs and white sand beaches. Fly from London Gatwick to Mauritius with British Airways, with flights and 7 nights hotel from just £949 per person. Don't miss out. Ends tomorrow. Book at ba.com/wintersun with British Airways. Incredible is within reach. Booking fees and conditions may apply. Limited availability. Selected flights in March.
It's hard to enjoy your daily yoga routine when your mind is on your next VAT return and how to avoid the usual mistakes. But with QuickBooks, the new VAT Smart Scan technology does the work for you. As the deadline approaches, it checks for duplicates, looks for anomalies, and reviews VAT codes. So your biggest struggle is touching your forehead with your ankle.
Search for QuickBooks, perfect for making tax digital. QuickBooks, backing you.
This is a live message from the Survivalist Network. There are reports of an impending zombie apocalypse reaching London. But don't panic. Our intel shows that for £199 a month with 0% APR representative, you can locally access the Toyota Hilux Invincible, the only vehicle with the build strength to withstand savage hordes of the undead. Once inside your Toyota Hilux, stay on this frequency for updates. You'll be fine.
0% APR representative on new sales of Hilux Invincible over 42 months. £199 per month. Customer deposit of £9,701 when financed through Access Toyota by 16th December 2019. £12,525 optional final payment. Subject to status to over 18s. Indemnities may be required. Conditions apply. Toyota Financial Services.
Ah, finally another commercial, said no one ever. Visit tunein.com/premium to upgrade now and get over 45 commercial-free music stations.
In the dictionary, a podcast is this: a digital audio file made available on the internet, typically as a series, of which new installments can be received by subscribers automatically. But on TuneIn, a podcast is this.
I'm Rachel Martin with David Green, and this is Up First from NPR News.
And it's defined like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
From news, sports, to pop culture, comedy, and beyond. Define your own podcast possibilities on TuneIn.
The Better Network is now on TuneIn. This is Brent Musburger. Search the Better Network. That's the BETR Network. And then let us get you better prepared to better enjoy the day in sports. The NFL, college football, basketball, hockey, baseball. Sharpen your edge. The Better Network is now on TuneIn. Be better informed. Be better prepared. Search the Better Network. That's BETR.
Here's a swing and a drive deep to right field. Looking up. Goodbye, baseball.
Between game-winning shots and walk-off homers, follow TuneIn on social media to discover the latest and greatest in live sports.
With the 24th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft.
From live reminders that the biggest MLB games are on the air, to recommendations of the best new sports talk shows and podcasts.
He's going to be fine. He's going to be good right away in 3 years.
Follow at TuneIn on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get the most out of TuneIn.
Pascal gobbles up the rebound and slams it down.
Catch your favorite NBA team right here on TuneIn.
A step back, deep three is up and in.
Search NBA on TuneIn and hear all the action. The NBA lives on TuneIn.
Guard takes the snap. He'll hand off Jacob straight ahead across the 15. Breaks and tackle 10. Across the 5. End zone. Touchdown.
Tonight, TuneIn has your Monday night NFL football with the Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. Kickoff at 8:15 p.m. Eastern.
It's caught on the near side by Jarwin, the tight end, 30. Down the near sideline, the 20. Got a block at the 15. Breaks and tackle 10. Down the sideline, 5. He's in for the touchdown.
At home or on the go, hear the home and away call of every NFL game this season on TuneIn Premium. Upgrade today.
On the goal line, Martin scores! He takes it home!
Hockey fans, the 2019-20 NHL season is here.
Here's Pietrangelo, he scores!
And you can hear the action live on TuneIn Premium.
Gonna move, hit a shot, he scores!
From regular season action to the All-Star Game and through the Stanley Cup in June. Hear the home and away call for every game, for every team live. At home or on the go, never miss a game with the NHL on TuneIn Premium.
Upgrade today.
You're listening to TuneIn, where you can hear all the audio you love in one place. Live NFL games, the hottest music, breaking news, and podcasts. Push play and go about your day, only on TuneIn.
Want to know what's happening in right now? The latest headlines are just a tap away with Fox News Talk on TuneIn. When news breaks, get up-to-the-minute coverage on developing stories from around the world. Plus, hear all the Fox shows you watch on your TV. Listen to Fox News Talk around the clock on TuneIn.
Morning, everyone. I've been a caregiver for 20 years. How you doing? No two patients are the same. Don't do too much. Predicting the next step for them can be challenging. Today, we're using the IBM Cloud to run new analytics tools that help us better predict and plan a patient's recovery. Ultimately, it's helping thousands of patients return home. And who doesn't love going home?
It is nice.
Yeah, but are we a van family?
Are we a van family? Of course you are.
The van just talks.
Sales guy. Is it magic? No, it's a Pacifica.
Allow me to do a little self-promotion.
Van life. You know you want it.
This season, our deal is your deal. It's that simple. Get employee pricing plus now at the Chrysler Black Friday sales event. Purchase and get $5,361 below MSRP plus 0% financing for 60 months on the 2019 Pacifica Limited.
When I see obstacles, I create opportunities.
When I see adversity, I find a way.
When I hear never, I say now.
Southern New Hampshire University is education made to fit your goals. With over 200 degree programs, flexible class schedules, and some of the lowest online tuition rates in the nation.
So when I face barriers, I can break through.
Break through at snhu.edu.
Does your broker offer more than just free trades? Fidelity has 0 commissions for online U.S. equity trades and ETFs, plus 0 minimums to open a brokerage account. With value like this, there are 0 reasons to invest anywhere else. Fidelity.
At today's Best Western, stay 2 nights and get a free night at over 4,200 hotels worldwide. 1 night, 2 nights, free night. Book now at bestwestern.com.
Tomorrow, CNBC's exclusive Upstart 100 list revealed innovative new names in healthcare, retail, cybersecurity, and more. See the complete list 9 a.m. Eastern at cnbc.com/upstart with on-air coverage at 11.
Welcome back to the exchange, everybody, and here are some of the movers at this hour. Shares of Boeing are jumping after the company said it expects to resume deliveries of its grounded 737 MAX planes next month. Boeing says airlines will be able to restart commercial service, so says the company, in January. Shares of Tesla up nearly 3% after Jefferies raised its price target on the stock to $400 from $300 per share. The bank pointing to gross margin levels that are consistent with sustained profitability. Qualcomm, meantime, down 2% on a downgrade to equal weight from overweight at Morgan Stanley. This on valuation concerns and a long lead time for new market opportunities. Well, on this Veterans Day, we are taking a look at one Wall Street firm that is doing its part to help former military members through jobs and the markets. Drexel Hamilton is 100% veteran-owned and counts more than half of its employees as veterans. For more, I'm joined by John Martinko, president of Drexel Hamilton and a former U.S. Army Airborne Ranger captain. John, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
We've done this a couple of times before, and we're delighted that you're here. Tell us about these money market funds that you have innovated with alongside Goldman Sachs, and what is the veteran connection in them?
Sure. So these two share classes, VETXX, cleverly named, and VTNXX are share classes of the parent financial square funds of Goldman Sachs. There's been a lot of commentary today even on Goldman, but I will tell you that Goldman Sachs has given us this first half of this trade where they've reached down into our veteran ranks and pulled us up to have a seat at their table for this opportunity to help corporations and municipalities and states satisfy those social governance goals of investing with military veterans. So Goldman, the product, cannot thank them enough, and the corporations and the demand there.
And your company, as a veteran-owned company, would qualify under that. We were talking earlier this hour about the amount of money that companies are sitting on, the cash.
Massive.
They're not putting it to work in capital spending, not just yet.
Right.
So it's going into funds like these, which are government-only or prime funds.
Agency paper, ultra secure, something that is a great workflow to get military veterans involved with.
You do a lot of work in IPOs.
Correct.
That's one of the things that your company is known for.
Yes.
How would you size up the market right now? There have been some hiccups, IPOs that didn't happen, like WeWork, IPOs that maybe shouldn't have happened.
Right.
Take your pick.
Yep.
IPOs that did happen and that have cratered since then.
Yeah. So as an underwriter, and something, as you mentioned, that Drexel Hamilton is extremely good at and talented, is the fact that the capital markets, the integrity of the capital markets is still there. I believe it's the valuations that are adjusting. Obviously, the VC rounds of funding, A series through B or C or D or even E's is what's driven these higher valuations, and the appetite is starting to find itself. We saw in October some of the deals priced within a normal range instead of, Tyler, outside the range or higher and higher valuations. So I think you're going to be fine in the capital markets, especially equity capital markets, into the end of the year.
When you look at WeWork and what happened there, is that an example of the marketplace working the way it should work? I mean, here's a company that obviously has a lot of flaws, a lot of warts, one way or another. There have been accusations of self-dealing. There have been all kinds of former and current employees who are much aggrieved by the bailout that the company received from SoftBank and the monies that Adam Neumann received. But did the fact that the IPO get pulled, is that evidence that the system worked?
So I believe so. I believe that obviously the investor found that the path to profitability was not going to stand on this one. These valuations were too inflated. The registration statement withdrawal on September 30th, so I cannot speak to what has happened internally since then from the SOICA or whoever is in the 10 defendants. I'm not tracking on that post-registration withdrawal. But I believe the market, that's the whole point of the capital markets, is to find the buyers and the sellers and where they match up.
Do you have a thought? We've just reported in the past hour that John Ledger of T-Mobile may be in talks with WeWork to become the CEO.
Sure.
Any thoughts there?
No, I mean, you're going to need to find a good CEO, but just like when I was in the Army, a battalion commander was the guy. And he called the shots, but guess what? He had an incredible staff behind him, from an S1 to an S4 shop. So I believe that's not just the top. The entire management structure needs to be looked at to be strengthened to adhere to corporate governance and drive. And let's not forget, now that you want to be a public company, you must perform and meet earnings expectations.
All right, John, thank you very much. Happy Veterans Day. Congratulations
you.
For the work you're doing with veterans and for veterans.
Happy Veterans Day to everyone.
We appreciate it. John Martinko. All right, that does it, or thereabouts, for the exchange. I'm going to saunter on over and join Melissa on Power Lunch in just a few seconds from now. I'm sure she's ready to take it away. Melissa?
Oh, I'm here, Tyler. I'm ready. We will see you in just a moment. I'm Melissa Lee. Here's what's new at 2 on Power Lunch. The Boeing boost shares soaring as the company says it could resume deliveries of its 737 MAX as soon as December. But is the worst really over for the aerospace giant? Plus, a shopping surprise. One top analyst says the holiday season on Main Street is shaping up to be better than Wall Street is expecting. We've got the man behind the call. He'll be here. And later, WeWork may be getting a new CEO. T-Mobile's John Ledger reportedly in talks to take the top job. And back in September, Jeff Sonnenfeld of Yale said he is the perfect guy for it. He'll join us later this hour. Power Lunch starts right now. And let's take a look at the markets right now. The Dow turning positive, albeit barely, for the day after being down triple digits as Boeing shares lead the way higher there. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both in the red. Take a look at Walgreens. That is jumping on renewed reports that KKR has made an offer to take the pharmacy giant private. That stock is up 15% this month, 6% in today's session. Ty.
How about that, Melissa? I covered the 25 feet from the exchange's desk over here in about a minute and a half. I haven't lost a step. Let's talk about Boeing. The shares there having their best day since June after the company upgraded its progress on returning the 737 MAX to the skies. Phil LeBeau has that developing story. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Tyler. Let's run down the timeline that Boeing put out this morning, and it essentially looks at December and January. Those are the crucial months for the MAX getting back in the air. So in December, what the company is planning is that you have FAA certification, and once that happens, then they'll be able to resume deliveries. Then in January, by the middle of the month, they expect the pilot training rules for the MAX to be set, and then depending on which carriers are ready, they could resume commercial flights potentially by the end of January. Southwest and American, two of the larger airlines around the world that have the MAX in their fleet, they both said that they're not going to be planning on flying it until March. We expect to hear from United perhaps this week or next week if it's going to push back its plan for flying the MAX. Currently, it's in January. As for Boeing, if you take a look at this stock over the last month, remember that it reports orders for the month of October. That'll come tomorrow, and we want to take a look at the backlog of the MAX. Have there been any cancellations, any conversions from those who had it ordered who want to take a different plane instead? And quickly take a look at shares of the airline index. And the reason we're showing this to you, it's benefiting, and it has benefited over the last couple of months from the idea that this constrained capacity, guys, this is what's limiting airlines from adding too many seats into the air. That's going to be an issue when the MAX comes into service beginning in the first quarter of next year.
You know, Phil, you raised a very interesting point when we talked an hour ago, and that is what will be the consumer acceptance of this equipment on flights? Do we know what that acceptance may be? Does Boeing know? I have to think they're out there gathering information on whether people are going to look and see that it's a 737 MAX and go, I don't want to take that flight.
Tyler, I have put this question to a handful of analysts, those who I think do probably the best job of forecasting the public's reaction to different aircraft crisis, etc. They cover the airline industry. All of them have said the same thing. I have no way of game planning this. There's no way of knowing if you'll get the public putting stuff on Twitter, putting stuff on Facebook saying, look what I'm supposed to fly today. No way am I getting on that plane. Or if it's going to be maybe a flurry of activity for a week or so, and then people start to forget about it a little bit. No way of knowing it all. And I'm sorry, anybody who tells you, oh, I know exactly how the reaction is going to be, they have no idea either. It's going to be different around the world, certainly different here in the U.S. than it's going to be, let's say, over in Southeast Asia or in Africa, etc.
Phil, on Friday, I believe you reported that Boeing wanted to start delivering 737 MAX in December, but needed FAA approval. And I'm wondering if the FAA has actually come in and said, okay, go ahead. And does this mean that once Boeing makes the delivery, that it can actually book the revenues?
First of all, I double-checked with Boeing on this, and Boeing has said, look, we are not looking to deliver airplanes to airlines until the FAA gives us the certification. So that's not going to happen. There has been some concern that they're running out of places to park these planes, that they're constrained because of space out in the Puget Sound area. Look, there are enough airfields around the country that you could lease some space to park planes that have been built but not yet delivered. So I think that this idea that they're going to be sending these to the airlines, ahead of time, I don't think that's going to happen, Melissa. I think we see deliveries begin when the certification happens.
Okay. Phil, thank you. Phil LeBeau in Chicago for us. Investors certainly cheering Boeing's new timeline. Shares of the stock on pace for their best day since June, but is the worst really over? Let's bring in CFRA analyst Jim Corridor. Jim, great to have you with us.
Thanks, Melissa.
Do you think the worst is over? I mean, Muhlenberg survived the Hill. They got a new chairman who did really well on TV, and now the timeline is changed, and the stock is up.
Well, certainly this is positive news flow. There's been positive and negative news over the past year. There's certainly a lot of checkpoints that Boeing has to tick before it can start bringing this plane back into service. It's got to take that recertification flight with the FAA, get approval from the FAA and then global regulators, start delivering these planes, and then start booking the revenues again. So there's a lot of things to move. There's pilot training. There's the fact that Southwest and American did delay the relaunch of this plane until March. So there's a lot of news flow, but Boeing is certainly moving in the right direction. I think the most important thing is that the paradigm is now shifting from if this plane comes back into service to when it's going to come back into service.
When can Boeing start booking the revenue in this timeline?
Yeah, I think they can start booking the revenues on delivery. So they get the FAA certification, the plane stops being grounded, that ground is lifted, they start delivering these planes, they get actual final cash deposits for the final delivery of these planes, book that as revenue, and actually add to their cash balances. So things start moving in the right direction probably, if not late December, then by January.
So, Jim, we just talked with Phil. I assume you heard it, where I asked about what the consumer acceptance of this aircraft is likely to be. Do you have any perspectives on that? Do you think people will stay away from it, not care about it for a little while, and then forget? What?
Yeah, I have a unique perspective since I cover both aerospace and airlines. It's been my perspective that the airline customers vote with their pocketbook. There may be some initial reticence to fly these planes the first week, but as we start to compile data showing that these planes are flying safely, Boeing and the airlines will put out a major PR push to educate consumers about the changes made to the plane. I think ultimately passengers will fly these planes. Number one, they have limited number of choices if they want to get to the destination. Number two, these planes will be found to be overwhelmingly safe, and they will be a huge PR push put on by Boeing, I think, to help that along.
I understand, Jim, that planes on order or in backlog, and it's not easy to switch. But in the future, are you worried that carriers have grown frustrated with Boeing because of this incident? And I'm thinking specifically of this New York Times article with Doug Parker of American Airlines, where he expresses again his frustration with Boeing. He says it's not the FAA changing the condition, it's the manufacturer either setting too aggressive a view as to when they will have the conditions met or not being able to deliver what they said they were going to deliver. I'm wondering if you think Boeing has a credibility issue going forward for future orders of planes.
Yeah, I think Boeing's entire legacy and credibility is on the line here. They need to get this relaunch correct. They only get one chance to do it. Their entire reputation going forward is on the line. If you talk about American Airlines and Doug Parker, their perspective is a little different because they're one of the few U.S. airlines that fly both Boeing and Airbus planes, so they can make a shift in their order book. It's much harder for a company like Southwest that only flies the 737 to change.
Are you
but
concerned
certainly
that's going to
Boeing
happen?
has to get this right.
Are you concerned that's going to happen?
I think America may be posturing for a better price from Boeing, some concessions maybe, some larger concessions than Boeing's willing to offer. I think that may be posturing. I think the economics of the 737 MAX are very compelling, and that plane basically sells itself as long as this launch comes out correctly and the plane is deemed to be safe.
But you raise a really interesting point there. I